Look, let's get this out of the way. I don't think this is a bad episode of Helluva Boss. I'm mostly just rolling my eyes at people who get upset at any sort of negativity listed against a show. And while I do have a few negatives about Helluva Boss, I do maintain that it is a good show. Honestly, the episode has left me in a rather befuddled position, because while there is some good, there's also some bad.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a little spoiler warning for people to go watch the episode first before they watch this review. For some reason, Common decided it'd be a good idea to start this review from the end of the episode instead of the beginning. So in order to avoid the angry mob that would be very inevitable, I will warn people, go watch the episode. I mean, it's free on YouTube. What are you doing here if you haven't seen it?
Let's start with the actual setup of the episode, which basically has the Dime Storm Men in Black capturing Blitz and Moxie, who were, I guess, out on a mission? I don't know, it never really explains it. I'm just assuming. Anyway, it's a good premise. After all, when you've got... You're gonna get some eyes on it, especially the...
Kooks. Such a silly word.
There is an issue with it, but let's talk about the biggest positive I can give this show, the fight scene. I remember that in one of my earlier critiques about a fight scene that it felt really slow and had a number of frames that were pretty jagged, and don't get me wrong, you still have the animation of that in this episode. Here's the thing, I'm willing to be a bit more lenient with it, like, to be very clear, it doesn't take a lot for me to enjoy a good fight scene. I'm more impressed since it requires more movement and experience as well as time and skill to really flesh out the scene. I can see why this episode took much longer to get done, since looking at the animation of the fight, especially with the continuous moving camera and the dynamic angles with it, visually I'm impressed. Again, I can nitpick about the choreography and the animation dropping some quality, but with all things considered, it's an impressive fight scene. The cuts between the scenes were kept to a minimum and allowed the action to flow a lot better, giving each character their own individual spotlight. Kinda gave me flashbacks to... There's just one fatal flaw with this fight scene, though, that prevents me from really liking it. And that, my friends, is the music choice. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but it just didn't click with me. Maybe it's because I play a ton of video games that have that effect, but when you have a badass moment... Music choice is really key here. I'm not sure if there's a name for this effect, but let me put it like this. A fight might be action-packed and be very well choreographed, but without the appropriate music score, it doesn't have the same effect.
Maybe this is just my own humble opinion, but Vibsy, where is my death metal track? That would have been awesome! But this is fine too, I guess.
This score for the fight scene is dull, at least to me, and is actively hurting the fight scene's fluid motion and action. It's like a big smudge on what is otherwise a very good fight scene. And that's my review. Now, if you don't mind...
Oh, no you don't! Get back in your seat!
Oh wait, there's other stuff.
Luckily for you, most don't believe the word of the demon-obsessed lunatics.
We finally got the evidence we needed to be taken seriously.
Nobody at corporate is ignoring this.
You know, I get this was a setup for future events, but it really just kind of irks me that this happened. From a narrative point of view, this is blowing your load way too soon.
You want to repeat that?
Quiet, you. Unless the next episode is going to be continuing this plot thread, which I kinda doubt, this could have been made for a fun surprise that these humans aren't as dumb as you think. They managed to get you demons on tape. Would have been a nice little kick and have much more impact for when this plot thread shows up again in a later episode. This right here is the same as introducing a new villain with a mysterious identity, and then in the same episode you show what they look like under the mask. It just feels really contrived, even more so with...
Nobody at corporate is ignoring this.
Wasn't the first scene of this episode showing recorded footage of these demons? There are clear shots of the imps here. Granted, I question some of these camera angles since they're just straight cuts from the previous episodes. I'm wondering who the hell took this footage? I'm getting off track. My question is, why does no one believe that demons are real in this world? They have video footage, and some of this footage is at public events. What, do people think these demons are actually just overgrown possums now?
Oh my god, it's a fucking possum!
Why are they seen as kooks? They already have videotaped footage of the imps. Are you telling me that this footage that they have isn't enough? Yeah! They have Eroska's human form in the footage, who apparently has some sort of celebrity status in the mortal world from what cues we got, with her reacting to Blitz in the footage right here. Look, I get that humans are seen as idiots in this show, but why hasn't this footage been released to the public, and why do people not think that the dozens of people who have died mysteriously, some of which were pretty obviously gruesome murders, haven't been solved crimes? I'll understand if we had a Bigfoot effect going on here, in which the footage is blurred or something like that, but these are clear shots. Why would the corporate for these Mulder and Scully wannabes not want to believe them when they got several pieces of footage of the imps?
Why?
The closest logical answer that I can give to this question is maybe people will think the imps in Stolas are furries or something? I don't know.
Look, I don't want to be a prick about this, but obviously I do. But when Helva Boss starts to get more deeper character development and storytelling, logical oversights like this bother me a lot more. The rest of this episode's creative writing aspects are outstanding. The character moments between Blitz and Moxie during the truth bomb scene are great, as they come to terms with their own flaws and how they both learn from their own ass trip fantasies that they do care for each other. Possibly even be friends despite the boss and employee status. Or Blitz being a creep.
Are you fucking filming us right now?
Couple that with the hallucinations that perform deep character dives into the two's relationship, where they were really tearing into each other. Yes! This is awesome! This is the character writing that narrowed me into Helva Boss a few months back with episode 2 of Lululand! It's these types of emotional gut punches that really make the show shine. And the fact that we see the two actually evolved as characters because of this event and them tripping balls, it's writing like this that really sticks, and it makes me appreciate the character writing of this show. It's practically the show's strong suit for me at this point, especially when it comes to displaying the unique presentation, along with the opposing animation styles for both their hallucinations. It adds more of an oomph to the points being made and fleshes out the characters. It's only hampered by the baffling writing decisions that I brought up earlier, that this great writing is preceded by it. Now, to be fair, this is a complaint that I had in hindsight, and I had to think about it while I was watching the episode a second time. I doubt most people would catch this on their first viewing, but there's a lot that makes me tilt my head at this episode, and I think the reason why I noticed these more quickly was because the episode was a lot more serious, and the jokes weren't as prominent in this one as they were in previous episodes.
That may be true, but I'm just going to give a shout out to Moxie's Karen Starbucks order at the beginning of the episode. That is a glorious gremlin move.
Yes, it's like a good gremlin brain moment, but it's practically the only humor in this episode. The situation and character moments were treated with a serious nature. I don't think that the setup is bad at all. Heck, I love it as I said earlier. The episode does a really good job of hooking you into the batshit insane plot while also bringing in more into the series. I'm not going to say this episode is bad. Far from it, but it has some problems that could have been cut from the episode that would have made the problems non-existent. In terms of episodes, I will say that's probably one of my favorites with the character work and the fight scenes, but I hesitate to say it's the best with the issues that it has. And no amount of gay imp and owl kissing will make me change my mind on that. Ugh, I can hear the fangirls typing their comments now. But hey, that's just me, in my opinion. I'm Manga Kamen, thanks for listening, and have a nice day. Oh, and remember to examine your fandom.